Wow. A little breath of fresh air tonight, right?
Big win. Big,
Big win.
huge win.
Huge win. So, Boston Celtics defeat the Houston Rockets 107-97. A 10-point victory that, kind of felt like a larger win. We're going to get
Mm.
started here. We're waiting for Ian and Seamus to join us. They will be here in a second. So, until they come in, um, it wasn't the prettiest win. It was a much needed win, Justin. What were
Mm.
just some quick, highlights you think you noticed and want to point out before we really get started that you're happy to see?
Uh, Something that Seamus touched on was 50-50 balls, right? And we'll get into that. I saw a lot of diving on loose balls and making hard-nosed plays, jumping out of bounds. So that a lot of hustle plays tonight, which really helped the Celtics extend their lead. We saw a fantastic third quarter, which is when the Celtics ultimately pulled away. I know a little shaky fourth quarter, but Celtics were able to hold on. I think that if this was last year and Houston makes that run that they kind of made towards the end of the game, I think the Celtics ultimately lose this game, or maybe even, the game gets a lot closer than 10 points, even though it was once at 19.
Yeah.
But Jayson Tatum, obviously, you see him up on the graphic right there. He was phenomenal. Grant Williams was nothing short of amazing. Al Horford is not washed. We'll get into that. Dennis Schroder played huge, stepped up. Even Peyton Pritchard played some pretty big minutes tonight and played pretty well. And overall, a great win for the Celtics.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. It was just a much needed win. You start off the season 0-2, you get blown out and embarrassed on your home court. You got we got us, all up in your ear. Tatum's got a lot of expectations like we talked about. I think everyone I think everyone played great. Grant Williams, we're going to talk about him later. I'm super excited to hear what Seamus has to say about him. He had 18 points. What is he now averaging? I want to say 13 on the season. Through a short 3 games. I like what Richardson gave us off the bench. Not the best, but a important 7 points, I'd say. Tatum looked great. Smart really embracing that point guard role. He's working on it. His shot selection is getting a little bit better. It's still, a little shaky. So, yeah, I think it was great. We won. The Rockets, aren't the best team. However, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Jalen Green, second overall pick in this year's draft. Houston Rockets kind of got their future. I mean, the guy scored 30 points, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks on 61% from the field. As Seamus is joining us now. How's it going, Seamus?
Pretty good. We got our first win finally.
We got our first win.
I didn't guarantee it, but we got it. So
yeah,
that's why we got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I would have guaranteed,
so I
walking away with the 10-point loss.
I asked Justin this right when he joined Seamus. Now, what through your first quick analysis as we wait for Ian to join us, what are you just happy? What are some things you're just happy to see that went right tonight for the Boston Celtics?
Jayson Tatum was amazing tonight, and mostly because the Houston Rockets had absolutely no one to defend him. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't talk about this coming into this matchup, but just looking at the matchup in general, there weren't many guys the Houston Rockets could comfortably throw at Tatum and, just feel comfortable with them defending Tatum the entire game and, switching onto him and staying on him. There was a stretch in the third quarter where the Celtics really got hot, and the run, it really continued because Tatum took the ball on his own, went ISO, and we don't like to see isolation plays a ton, but when a star like that is hot, he got to his spot, took his shot, and buried a deep three. I believe it was about a 25-foot three, and that was really a moment in the game where you look at it and go, wow, that was a moment where Jayson Tatum took over. He took the reins and really just led this team to a win. I know we only won by 10 in the end, but that was really the moment in the third quarter where I thought the game really flipped on its head for the Celtics. So you have to be happy about that, especially after what we talked about in the pregame show.
Now, I think you made some great points. Jayson Tatum looked good. Was it you or was it Justin who said? I think it was you. You want the offense to come, fluent. You want to see Tatum kind of score more in like the flow of the offense, and I think he did a great job of that tonight. He scored 31, a quiet 31. You wouldn't have imagined Tatum scored 31, and that's when he's at his best. Is when you don't realize it creeps up on you. He's got 35. That's what he can do. So, big win for the Celtics, a much needed win for the Celtics. And, you sit here and you look at the box score, and I think something that stands out to me, right? And Justin mentioned it, and I want to hear what you have to say about this, Justin, is, Al Horford. He's a guy that, we brought in and people didn't really know what to expect from him, if it was going to be a role player or if it was going to be, a potential all-star spot. What has Al Horford shown so far this season for the Boston Celtics?
Well, he's shown that he is one of the more active 35-year-olds in the league, and he sure as hell is not washed. I remind you, this is now his back-to-back. His first 2 games recovering from COVID, he's had 2 double-doubles. Obviously, tonight was a little bit more important because he won the game. But, 17 points, 10 rebounds. And let me just tell you this. Al Horford, for his size, he's a big dude. For his size, and he's out there defending on his perimeter, and that's where he's getting a lot of these blocks, is out on the perimeter guarding these wing players or even guard players. He's bringing it on both ends. But what impresses me the most is how active he is. Right? How he's getting ahead of the break. Brian Scalabrine had mentioned on the broadcast of NBC Sports Boston, a typical 35-year-old isn't running the fast break with the ball. He's running into the front court and taking it back out to the 3-point line to reset the play. Al Horford just takes it right to the basket, and guess what? If he gets fouled, he gets fouled. If not, he knows he's going to tough it out and try his best to get a bucket. And I think that's so huge with Al Horford. And people got to remember, Al Horford only played 29 games last year. The Oklahoma City Thunder had to shut him down. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't playing bad. They had to shut him down because he was helping Oklahoma City win games. And he was putting up I think he had one of his best career, some of his best career numbers in some statistics. But, I mean, granted, He only played 29 games. But Al Horford's not washed, people, I'm telling you.
So now, Seamus, it was a big night for multiple guys, but through 3 games here, there's been one name that's kind of been a standout name for Boston Celtics players, and it's no other than Grant Williams. I mean, the man has come out, and through 3 games, he's shown that, he's going to be a rotational player. I mean, 18 points tonight. He's averaging right around 13 and a half on the season. He still looks a little slow on defense, but, what has Grant Williams shown that's really taken his game to, maybe you could say, the next level?
Well, I mean, his ability to hit 3-point shots has just been completely different from even last season or the season before. I mean, remember when he started his career out, he was 0 for 25 from 3-point range. Teams were leaving him wide open all the time, and they still are. So when those opportunities are given to him, which I mentioned this the other night with Langford as well, when those opportunities of open shots are given to him, they have to make those shots. And what was Grant Williams tonight from 3? I believe he hit 6 or 8 or 5 of 7. He was 5 of 7 from 3 tonight. That's, that is amazing compared to where he was during his rookie season or even last season when he was just trying to do too much with the ball, trying to put it on the floor a little bit too much. This year, he's taking those spot-up threes, taking those catch-and-shoot threes that you just like to see him take in general, rather than put the ball on the floor and try to play make off of them. He is taking full advantage of what his role should be. And that is just something wonderful to see this season, because those are the improvements that we were looking for in Grant Williams this season.
It's for sure a much needed spark off the bench, and it's something you got to be happy about. Now, we welcome in Ian, real quick before, we continue on with the show. I've asked everyone this as they've joined in. Quick thoughts, quick takeaways from this game. What are you happy to see?
I'm happy we actually played competent basketball. They took my key to heart today. In all seriousness, though, sure. I'm really happy. I'm happy what I saw I'm pretty much happy what I saw with us being down Jaylen Brown and Romeo Langford, everyone stepping up and getting a pretty good win against a really good Rockets team. And shout out to Jalen Green. He was amazing tonight.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
To burn us.
Yeah. Also, I know you just finished talking about it, but how about Grant Williams from 3? Like, I mean, he has just become automatic at this point, at least in the start of the season.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I really hope it's something that like we can see, more as the season continues. Is that's a shot that we can go to is Grant Williams, a kick out corner three, and that could be huge. Now, Ian, I've asked Justin about Al Horford. I've asked Seamus about Grant Williams, but there was another name that was a key factor to this victory, and it was Dennis Schroder. Schroder came out and it was a big spark off the bench, scored 18 points with 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He is our player spotlight for tonight. So what is it that Dennis Schroder is bringing that could take this team to the next level? Do you think?
Dennis Schroder is bringing something that we completely did not have last year, and that's someone that can create their own shot and doesn't need Tatum or Brown to set up a shot for them. I feel like now let's just say Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum has to miss time, we now know that we have a guy like Dennis Schroder that can come off the bench or even start, that can provide us solid minutes and solid, offensive talent. I mean, he was really good tonight. Like, I mean, he had a few turnovers here and there, but I mean, overall, he facilitated really well. He scored really well. His defense was pretty good too. And honestly, I'm just really excited to see what we have in Schroder for the rest of this season.
I mean, to have that guy to think he's a bench player, that's huge. It's going to be big for us down the stretch. Now, you mentioned turnovers. Now, the Boston Celtics, 11 turnovers is still relatively high, but we kept it low for our standards. Celtics only commit 11 turnovers compared to the Rockets 18. Justin, what was different about tonight's offensive game plan that let that happen?
Well, I think the Celtics were playing a lot more with pace, and I think everybody was on the same page. They were playing a lot more relaxed in a way, right? And they were making the right plays at the right time. They weren't so much forcing a lot of passes. A lot of the times you see them driving on the baseline, and they'll try to kick it out, do a little fancy pass, and it just won't work out. And tonight, the Celtics, like you said, 11's pretty high as well. We set the over-under to under 15. That's pretty high, but, luckily, the Celtics were able to walk away with only, which compared to their 21.5 average is stellar.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. So actually, now that you say that, let's get into the over/under bets. So, Justin, this is your thing, so I'm gonna have you take it away.
Yep. Okay, so over/under tonight, it was best of 3 points. Obviously, Ian wasn't here, so it was between me, Seamus, and Rob. Tatum gets over or under 5 assists. Now, previous to this game, he averaged 4. Rob and I took the under. Seamus took the over. He finished with only 2. But granted, he had a great night, 31 points, 9 rebounds. So Rob and I each get a point there. And then the second one, Celtics win the third quarter. Oh, now the over-under was basically, if it's over, the Celtics won. If it's under, the Celtics lost the quarter.
I took this one, right? I got this one.
Rob and I each took this one, and the Boston Celtics won in the third quarter by 15, 36-21. So Rob and I each take a point there as well, and Seamus suffers down in the hole here, 0-2. But the third one,
using analytics, it's tough.
Rob was the only one to get this one right. Hold the Celtics to over under 15 turnovers. Seamus and I both took the over. Rob took the under. They had 11. I know only four turnovers away, but it's a lot better than 21.5 turnovers. So Rob finishes the night perfect, 3 of 3. Seamus finishes 0-3, and I finish. It happens. It happens. I finished 2 with 2 points, 2 out of 3. So that's your over under. I think, guys, a lot of the times here, when you're wrong, you hope you're either, sometimes in this case, you hope you're wrong, right? When you take the under, when we take the over on the turnovers, we hope we're wrong, right? We're obviously not hoping to get it right and get 15 or more turnovers, but that's your over unders. We plan on doing those every pregame show. You guys like them, all 4 of us, we like them. So that's your over and under predictions for the night.
Rob, you probably wish you were winning money on that parlay.
I was right about to say, I was like, what is this? What can you do? But you know what? I'm just happy the Boston Celtics got their first win of the season, guys. So, it's a breath of fresh air, right? Much needed. We're 1-2 on the season now. If you guys want a little bit, another quick breath of fresh air. The New York Knicks just lost to the Orlando Magic, 110 to 104.
Hey.
And the
So,
Nets got smacked by the Hornets today, by the way.
The Knicks were
Yeah,
12-point favorites tonight. That's a big.
Yeah, so,
that's
but
big.
so Justin makes a good point. So right now, Boston Celtics are playing the red hot Charlotte Hornets tomorrow night. Second night of a back-to-back for both teams. Hornets just beat the Brooklyn Nets 111 to 95. Miles Bridges, mind you, led their way with 32 points on the night. KD on the other side had 38. Hayward only put up 8. But, they got some big names here we got to watch out for. LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, Miles Bridges. They got a nice young rookie in James Bouknight. So what do the Boston Celtics have to do starting tomorrow night in order to get this dub against what I would consider a very good team right now?
Yeah. Something you got to notice about Charlotte is they're a very fast-paced team, and they were like that last season. They're like that this season, and you got to get back on defense. I mean, LaMelo Ball is a quarterback in this league. You got to match the pace tomorrow.
Yeah, and you also have to restrict them in points in the paint. I'm looking at their numbers tonight here. 56 to 42 points in the paint versus the Nets tonight. As we saw with Toronto the other night, if that happens with our team, I mean, it's very hard for a team to pull out a game where they're just getting dominated by the bucket. So we're certainly going to have to, secure the boards on, on Monday, tomorrow. And, we have to remind ourselves, too, with the Charlotte Hornets team, they actually have a front court now. They actually added Plumlee and they have Kai Jones. Like, they have a real front court now compared to last season when, we're looking at guys like Bismack Biyombo and Cody Zeller, where those guys aren't really, Cody Zeller was a Celtics killer, but, they didn't strike fear into our hearts like Charlotte's front court can now with that roster.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I think my big thing is getting back on defense. Like Justin was talking about, they're a very fast-paced team, and the Celtics are, they're kind of known for sometimes not getting back on defense very fast enough. So also, I feel like we need to at least limit them to the three-point line because tonight they didn't shoot very well from three. They were 10 of 30 from three, which, it's not bad, but it's not great either. So I feel like if we can get in their airspace when they're shooting and kind of restrict the paint a little bit, I feel like that'll be the best thing for the Celtics tomorrow.
Now, some big news. Terry Rozier did not play tonight due to his ankle. He is questionable for tomorrow night's game against the Celtics. If Rozier isn't going to play, or rather if he is going to play, you look at that, backcourt, Rozier and LaMelo Ball, those are two guys who can pour it on whenever they want. So, defensively, what has to get done between Smart, Richardson, Brown, and Schroder? What do they have to make sure they're doing consistently on these guys in order to get the win?
Not going under any screens at whatsoever. If the Boston Celtics do what they did against the New York Knicks, against a team like Charlotte, especially in Charlotte, we know Charlotte might not be one of these huge franchises. But when that arena gets loud in Charlotte, the bench gets off their feet, the fans get off their feet, their announcers get off their feet. It's a tough atmosphere to try to come back and try to win a game. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year the Boston Celtics absolutely got ran out of the gym when they went to Charlotte last year. And that could be in jeopardy tonight, although there's two different, these two are two completely different Celtic rosters. It could happen again tomorrow night, and it might all depend if we have, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Romeo Langford tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, and for the Celtics too, defending LaMelo Ball specifically, you have to get into passing lanes. You have to block passing lanes with him because, as we've seen with LaMelo thus far in his career, the man might be one of the best playmakers in the entire league already, and he's only in his second year. So that's only continuing to grow, and we haven't quite seen the full potential of LaMelo Ball yet. I mean, he's slowly progressing into the season so far. He's looked really great this season so far. So getting into those passing lanes, trying to force turnovers and scoring points off those turnovers like the Celtics did tonight against the Rockets will be very, very important down in Charlotte tomorrow.
Yeah, agreed. Honestly, I feel like you said, Seamus, getting turnovers is probably our biggest thing and probably limiting our turnovers. Now, 11 is a good start. It's not the 25 that we had against the Raptors, But 11 is good. If we can get it even less than that, I feel like the Celtics will be perfectly fine tomorrow.
Now, I think a big thing we should mention, right, that something I kind of noticed in the past two losses and in this win was it almost feels like we weren't losing games those past two games because of our role players, right? It was more of the two guys in charge, whether it's Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. They kind of were struggling in holding this team back, and I feel like tonight, although Brown was in the lineup, you kind of saw how well these role players can, help Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Horford gave you 17, Schroder gives you 18, Grant Williams gives you 18. And mind you, you'd say Rob Will and Marcus Smart offensively scoring wise, they didn't contribute much, only 8 and 2. So I think this game was just a little glimpse of the potential and how deep this team can be. And I think Charlotte's going to really put this to a team to a test to see if can they contribute and can they use Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum to the best of their abilities and have these role players still contribute high.
Yeah.
And if you look at the bench points tonight, 31-14 for the Celtics. Typically when a bench scores 31 and they're blowing them out by what is that, a 17-point margin if my math is correct there?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge advantage in a game because as we all know, once your role players are getting going, once all, however deep your rotation going however long your rotation is, if all of those players are getting going, it's very hard for the other team to have success when everyone is clicking at the same time.
Yeah, Celtics only went 9 players deep tonight, right? And Aaron Nesmith didn't even score, so you can argue 8 players, that actually contributed tonight. That seems to be his rotation, through the past 3 games is an 8 to 9, maybe even go up to 10 if he dares so. But something to watch out for. Celtics are on a second night of a back-to-back tomorrow night. Jayson Tatum played 37 minutes, Smart played 36, Schroder 33, Horford 29, Robert Williams 27, and Grant Williams 31. So that'll be something to really, look forward to tomorrow. Especially like Ian said, Hornets are a very fast-paced team. So, Celtics are going to have heavy legs tomorrow. They could have heavy legs. I'm not saying we're going to lose, but, watch out for that. The Celtics could be fatigued tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about Jaylen Brown. I don't know if you guys talked about him yet, but I don't know how long he's going to be out with this knee injury because knee injuries can be terrible, man. Like you can have a knee injury in the beginning of the year and you cannot.
He should be good to go tomorrow night versus the he should be good to go for the Hornets. It was just for the back-to-back, I believe, is what I read.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
That's
NBC slightly concerning because the whole problem with Kemba last year is, Kemba didn't play back.
I was just about to talk about Kemba, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier on the pregame show too. Like, if those knee issues are chronic for Jaylen Brown, that's just really tough to get over. Yep. They never go away. Chronic is they never go away. So that's, that's a little bit concerning on my end. But I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, I hope Jaylen's okay. I hope he can play tomorrow night, and that might be a little bit of something the Celtics need. I don't know how injured he is or how fresh he is right now, but compared to the other guys that have played so many minutes tonight, we'll have somebody that's a little more fresh to go tomorrow.
Yeah, no, yeah, and you got Romeo Langford. Hopefully, I don't know his status on tomorrow's game. I believe he'll probably be questionable. I don't know if he'll play, suit up. I don't know how serious that. I believe it was a calf injury. He's just dealing with just some, I don't know if it's just precautionary, if they're just being a little better safe than sorry. It's early. Why make it more sore? I hope that's the case for Jaylen Brown. And, I've always kind of I'm banking on the whole COVID. He had COVID, he played, a lot of back-to-back, maybe they gave him the chance for a rest and just captioned it, knee tendonitis, hopefully.
He's not even there. He's not even on the road. So,
Jaylen?
Yeah, he's not even there. Romeo's there.
No, Jaylen was there tonight.
No, he's coming. NBC Sports Boston said that he wasn't there tonight. He's making the trip in.
He was on the bench.
Was he?
JB was on the bench. Yeah, JB was on the bench.
I didn't even see him.
I didn't see him either. I saw Romeo.
They said that he was coming in.
I saw it. No,
I thought they. They said he was coming in overnight, and then he was going to be there.
I saw him. He was wearing the glasses. He was wearing the glasses.
I don't know. Maybe he was.
Maybe I just don't.
Someone confirm.
Yeah, no, he was there. He was there.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal because whether he's there or not, he's still questionable to play tomorrow. So, but you know, like I said, you know, the Celtics are really going to need Jaylen Brown tomorrow, regardless of how tonight went or not. I mean, the Charlotte Hornets were definitely, with all due respect, the Houston Rockets played awesome tonight. Jalen Green played awesome. Kevin Porter Jr. played amazing. Okay, he was there. Okay. But, you know, tomorrow is the more tougher matchup, I guess you could say, between the two. Hornets are coming off of a blowout win against the Nets in Brooklyn, I remind you, where the Nets, you know, had Durant, Harden, not Kyrie, Rob.
Not Kyrie.
No. But you know what I mean? But that's still a huge momentum win, although they're also on a second night of a back-to-back. You know, that's going to be a huge momentum booster for them to go in, coming off of a blowout win over the Nets.
You know what that tells me, though? Is that it's going to be a defensive battle, I think. And this is Boston Celtics team kind of needs that right now. Their defense hasn't really been as good as I think we all thought it was going to be. I mean, I had expectations.
Jayson Tatum.
Top 5 defense, as you know, he points out Jayson Tatum, but you know, they look better tonight, mind you. You know, you hold a team to under 100 points, you're doing something right. You force 18 turnovers, but I think tomorrow night's a huge test. I'm super excited. You know, two teams. You know, expectations are high for both of them. You know, one team's red hot, one team's kind of trying to find themselves. It's going to be a good one, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely will be. I'm really excited to see what they do defensively because, like you said, Rob, like it's been a little bit of a struggle so far defensively. Tonight they did pretty well, and I was just kind of joking about Tatum. He really wasn't that bad defensively tonight. But just, you know, in the past he was. But tonight he was pretty good. And, I mean, I thought they did a pretty good job defensively, and I don't know, maybe we can see Al Horford getting some Defensive Player of the Year votes with the way he's going right now.
Well, and Tatum, tomorrow's matchup for Tatum is going to be huge because when you look at the players he's going to have to defend tomorrow, Hayward, Miles Bridges, who had 32 tonight, PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre, all of those guys, Tatum's going to be, you know, matched up onto them at some point in the game. Those are all guys who can go and get you a bucket at any point in the court. And for Tatum to guard that type of versatility on offense, that's going to be a real challenge for him versus what he went up with tonight in Houston, where, you know, you look at their forwards, there aren't that many threats on the floor for Houston. And, you know, the Celtics did do well defensively tonight, but there were a couple of moments where, you know, they switched when they probably shouldn't have, or they miscommunicated on a switch, leaving, you know, specifically I saw a lot Jalen Green open for three. That happened a lot up at the top of the key or at the wing. So they need to improve upon that. And Jayson Tatum specifically tomorrow's going to be the real test for him.
Yeah, and you know what? This Hornets team, I think Justin tapped in on it. You know, they play with a lot of energy, fast pace. They want to run you out the gym. They love to throw lobs. They shoot the 3-ball super well. You know, they got LaMelo Ball is the real deal. Hayward's a great passer. They can, you know, they're a really well-rounded team. Obviously, you know, Baron Rozier, you know, that's a big part of their lineup, but you know, like we said, you know, this is going to be a big test, especially for Jayson Tatum, because there has been some doubt now. You know, he's got people thinking, oh, you know, obviously, like we said, small sample size, but, you know, if Tatum can come out again, right, give us the 30, play some solid defense, Celtics can get a dub, you know, then you start thinking, all right, this is just got to gel, right? Once this gels, we're going to be in business, I think.
I was just looking at the schedule to see who we have after Charlotte.
So we have the Rockets.
I was hoping somebody was going to say something.
I thought Justin was going to was going to come up with this whole dramatic thing, and he was just staring off.
We can look at the next 5 games ahead. You know, we do this on our podcast. If you don't listen to it, go listen to that. But we got the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow night on the road at 7:00. And then we come back to Boston to play Washington, who is right now 2-0 at 7:30. That should be a good one. We get to see our good friend Bradley Beal. I'll be interested to see if he gets a little standing ovation. If you remember the Gordon Hayward days, the Kevin Durant days, it'll be interesting to see.
Jay Crowder's not going to be happy about that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's the person who's not going to be happy about this Bradley Beal ovation? Is it going to be Schroder? Is it going to be
for sure?
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Marcus Smart, because we might have to trade him.
Yeah, Marcus Smart,
true.
for sure.
The Celtics have 2 days off, which I think is going to be huge for us. They have Thursday, Friday off, and then we travel on the road to play Washington in the nation's capital in D.C. at 5 o'clock on a Saturday, which will be good. And then the fifth and final game, I believe, is that Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, against the Chicago Bulls, the first. That's a big game. Celtics versus Bulls. I believe that's going to be on ESPN. That one is at the Garden.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a big test. Those Chicago Bulls have been rolling.
They're so good. That Bulls team is going to be a problem. Like, I mean, I didn't know how good like Lonzo Ball was, and like, Alex Caruso was, and DeMar DeRozan was. Like, I mean, they seem to have gelled fairly quickly so far with all of the new pieces they brought in.
We'll see. They've played 3 games this far, or 2 games?
3.
3 games.
3.
So 2 of them were against the Pistons.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
we'll have to tuck that one away. And then they gave up 112 to, in my opinion, an abysmal Pelicans team.
Yeah,
in my opinion, that's Bulls team. I like the way they look.
No, I know they still haven't played a real team, but I mean, it's still it's still something to think about. And they play the Raptors on Monday, so or tomorrow.
4 games: Raptors, Knicks, Jazz, Celtics, and then you could probably throw in 76ers twice.
There was a lot of people in our comment section on the last live stream that was pretty mad at us for underrating the Raptors so hard.
I'll underrate them again.
But they're not making.
I'll underrate them again. Yeah, no, you don't lose to a Pascal Siakam. If you lose to the Raptors and you got Siakam, you're like, that's a tough matchup, right? For a regular season matchup, that's but there's no Pascal Siakam. I'm sorry, Raptors fans. You guys are on the outside looking.
I don't know what that was all about, because we were mainly complaining about the fact we had 25 turnovers and let up 21 offensive rebounds. Like, it doesn't matter. I mentioned that, too. I don't care if it's against the Lakers. I don't care if it's against the Raptors. I don't care if it's against the Houston Rockets or the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's inexcusable. I don't care. Again, I don't care who it's from. I don't care who's playing and who's not playing. That was a awful. Like, I needed an Advil, a Tylenol, and a Pepto-Bismol to just deal with myself after that. Like, I needed like a medicine, like a cocktail medicine to just cure all the pain I had from head to toe.
You got to remember, we don't
appreciate the support, Raptors fans.
Yeah, thanks for the view count was awesome. So shout out to you guys. But
thank you for the engagement, by the way.
Thank you, Canada.
But we're not here to
talk about the Maple Leafs though, because they're going through some struggles right now.
Yeah, we're not here to analyze the Toronto Raptors. We're here to talk about the Boston Celtics and what they can and can't do. So, but with that being said, the Toronto Raptors are probably a play-in team.
No.
You don't think they're a play-in team?
No. Where did I put them in my standings? I might have overrated them. I want all of them to come back.
I had them at 11, but I think I should have had them at 12 because I had the Pacers over them.
I didn't even have them in my top 10. I had Charlotte at 9, Indiana at 10, and actually I had the Knicks at 8. So yeah, I didn't have them in my playoff picture anyway.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I had them. I think I had them.
I don't know. I think they can get in. I think they're better than Cleveland, Detroit, Orlando.
Yeah.
Well, that's only 3 teams.
Washington. Oh, I'm not done. Are they better than Washington?
No, I don't think.
You don't think so? Although
Beal and Dinwiddie versus.
I do think
versus who, Seamus?
Although you can't discredit what the Raptors have
out for however long. They're resting on Anunoby to be their most improved player.
They got Scotty Barnes too, who's a promising young
props to Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent Jr., and Precious Achiuwa. All the other ones did not impress. Actually, Fred VanVleet.
Van Vliet's always good.
His 9 assists was more impressive than the 11 points he scored.
But that's what I'm saying. You guys got to realize, 2 years ago that the Raptors were a 3 seed. You can't just or a 2 seed. They were a 2 seed.
No, I don't think you understand. We're not discrediting them at all.
I know. What I'm saying is that
I'm talking about the Raptors fans. It's like we're here to talk about Celtics basketball. It's come onto our show and expect us to be.
Let's circle back around. I know.
Oh my gosh.
We can't get
Go
too
back
into
to
this.
the maple syrup drinking or something.
Whoa. Wait, can I say something to Raptors fans real quick? I'm gonna look right at the camera here. We're going to win the next time. The Celtics. are going to
do not guarantee.
the next
Oh.
time we face them.
I hope
You were
so.
doing so good. You
I hope
didn't
Nick
take the
Nurse-
bait.
I
Yet,
hope
you
Nick
didn't take
Nurse-
the bait in the pregame show,
When do
and
we
now
play
you
them?
do it now.
This is gonna be a good game. We can all put parlays on it because
No, Rob can't.
No, Rob
any
can't
more
bet.
parlays.
I
on
was
anything.
3-0 today. I was 3-0.
yeah, Rob's feeling.
Don't test your luck, Rob.
You still haven't won back enough money to
3-0.
cancel out last time.
I was 3-0. Mind you, that New York Knicks game, I won my parlay too. Jaylen Brown over on points, threes.
Yeah, you won one parlay. How much did
And
that
then you
cost?
bet-
$50. You lost.
Yeah. How much did I
200.
win? No, I lost.
How much did you lose though?
All right, but that wasn't.
You lost
parlays,
more than you won. That's why he's back home. I'm telling the people this. We play Toronto again pretty soon, November 10th at home.
All right.
At
17
home.
days, Raptors fans. You got 17 days until another loss, so make them count.
Oh God.
Get the streak going now.
All right, so let's get back to.
It's
So
at
there's
the
a
Garden.
there's a comment here I want to address.
I have no part in that, Raptors fan.
It's actually Celtics related, so let's stick to some Celtics stuff. I'll throw it up on the screen for you guys. Remember, comment any questions, but we're willing to answer them. This one is: I personally don't like the way Emi is using Rob in the offense. That's a good point. You got to figure, but something I just want to touch base in touch on is that Rob's role is going to be a little bit different this year. Because of Al Horford. Horford's a really great offensive big. He can space the floor. He knocks down threes. Great post up player. Rob's role this year is really to be a defensive lockdown. He's just got it on defense. He's got to block shots. He's got to rebound, and he's got to run the floor.
Yeah, I think with Robert Williams coming into this year, they're almost using him as this around the rim center for rebounding and shot blocking and just putbacks in general. They're maximizing that part of his game overall.
Yeah.
Yet they're taking away, I said this in the pregame, you'd like to see the Celtics run a little bit more pick and roll with Robert Williams. We haven't seen a ton of that this year. Even the plays we have seen Rob run the pick and roll in, they're usually off of some kind of broken set, or they don't happen very often in general at all. And I don't know if they plan to include him or just slowly bringing him along. But to this point, Robert Williams' involvement in the offense has been minimal compared to last year. And that's not necessarily a bad thing moving forward, but I would rather Robert Williams to have more of a role on the offense because of the freakish athletic nature of him. I mean, we saw it in the playoffs last year. There were times where the Nets, they had no idea how to guard the pick and roll with Robert Williams. And, on some matchups, that's going to be better. On others, they probably won't roll that out as much. But up to this point, we haven't seen, I would say, enough of it in general, despite the matchups. And that's just something moving forward that I hope we do see, because if not, I don't know if we're fully maximizing Robert Williams.
I think it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
This is a problem we want to have. One of our better players is we won a game, and one of our better players wasn't really incorporated much. I was about to say we're winning games, but we're not. We won a game, so I wouldn't stress it. Like we said, Rob Will had a fantastic night against the Knicks and the Raptors. And, so we've seen Rob and Al both have great nights. So I think that it was just kind of it was a night where Rob Will, wasn't the guy. There'll be nights where Rob is the guy and Al's not the guy.
You got to remember, he shot two attempts tonight, too. He was 1 of 2. So, and there was a play, Seamus, I like that you brought up the pick and roll game with him, because there was a play tonight where Schroder and Robert Williams work so extremely well together. Like, I really enjoy watching the pick and roll game with them. There was a play where he being Robert Williams set a screen for Schroder. Schroder went around the screen, and Robert's screen split the defense, and Schroder took it right to the basket. I think he got missed and got fouled, but just little stuff like that, I think, will help the Celtics succeed a lot more. But like you said, Al Horford is a well-rounded, more offensive power center who plays the perimeter on both ends. Robert Williams is kind of the opposite of that. He's more of an athletic, versatile, down-low, post-dominant player. He's not really – you see him extending his shot out to like 10 feet, but other than that, Robert Williams is strictly down low, and that just doesn't fit the Celtics' plans right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have Al, so I'm not saying Rob's role on the offense isn't important, but at the same time, you have a guy in Al Horford who can do a lot more offensively than Robert Williams can. So I feel like right now, it's okay with them just focusing on his rebounding and his defense right now because that's been his strengths for this long. So I'm personally okay with where Rob is in the offense right now. And like you said, there will be games where Rob will be the guy and there will be games where Al is the guy.
Yeah. Well, Emi Udoka got a water rained as he walked into the locker room for his first win. So there's good vibes in the Celtics locker room. It's good to see. Like we said, Boston Celtics do play the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow night on a second night of a back-to-back. Justin, what is up?
Somebody threw shorts at Emi Udoka. ESPN's going to make a nasty story about that because they hate Boston sports. Like, bad intentions.
What happened?
No, nothing. They were celebrating. And they threw their shorts at Emi Udoka. Watch. Like ESPN. Oh, Celtics.
That's
fans.
one thing. It's probably Richardson. There's one thing. Richardson is a funny guy. He is a goon.
He is so funny.
Celtics get so pissed at Emi Udoka they throw water at him. Like
he was on the jumbotron. He was on the jumbotron. It was pretty funny when I was at the game, and he was saying how they was asking what hobbies, and he said, "Oh, it was numchucks." It was so funny. It was like
it was the nunchucks, but he got the foam ones because he got the foam. Pretty good.
Did you guys see him on TikTok? He's hilarious on TikTok. He's so funny on TikTok.
I know he's a big TikTok guy, but I don't mess with TikTok. But the only TikTok person
Come
I know.
Come on, Seamus. You don't renegade at all?
No.
Not even a little bit, bro?
No.
All right. Well,
TikTok
Boston Celtics, like I said, play the Charlotte
TikTok stuff. He's my favorite TikToker, by the way.
Who?
I appreciate it, Seamus. Thank you very much.
We'll have to get who's that Celtics guy? JJ.
We saw him at the game.
Hey, he's a cool guy. I mean, he has some
maybe we'll get him.
He has some off takes here and there. Just don't ask him about his takes about.
He does.
I think he had one take where it was like I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Kawhi Leonard and Tim Duncan or something like that, and he was comparing us to saying why Kawhi Leonard was better. It was something like that. I can't remember the exact player he compared him to, but
Tim Duncan.
I mean, he had some off takes, but at the same time, he's a cool guy.
All right. Well, the Boston Celtics.
I expected someone to keep talking, but all right.
Big night. In 107 to 97 on the road. So the water tower guys. I'm Rob. That's Justin. That's Seamus. And whatever's down there.
Oh God.
Is Ian. Have a great night.